Hello and welcome to another episode of the Just Go Watch podcast. This week we are jetting off to Niflheim into space with Mickey 17.
Absolute dog shit.
I don't need
Absolute
I don't need
fucking dog shit.
I do not need to see it to know it's dog shit. Yes. Directed by Bong Joon-Ho, who of course did Parasite. We have Mickey 17 this week. Now there is a bit of a change in the lineup to your usual listening loves. We've got Sweet stepping in.
Yay! And so he's
Yes.
back from outer space. Is that the I don't even know if that's the words.
That would work.
It would work, yeah.
Although you wouldn't
We could have
come
just done
back
that as
from
an
outer
intro.
space. Too late.
Well,
Too late.
Too late. I could come back
this
from
is
outer
all
space.
live. Yeah, no, there's no MP. MP's actually got plans this weekend, which I never thought I'd see the day.
Please blow my mind. Like I'm
So,
only here to check
congratulations.
that he's not here.
Congratulations, MP, on making plans and missing a pod. I think he's stepping outside and seeing the world as it is, which, to be fair, in the States is probably not a particularly safe thing to do. So hopefully he's not outside too long. Hopefully he's back next week. And Deej is also unavailable as well. But I mean, if anything, it's an upgrade getting you. You're an upgrade on both.
Well, yeah, I am worth more than both of them put together.
Yeah.
I am slightly concerned about MP. I'm not sure if his skin can take the rays the sun puts out, and if he's just going to disintegrate into dust like some sort of vampire in the daylight or something.
Well, it's been so long.
It has been so long.
Since he's stepped outside of his little hovel, his little cave.
I'm amazed he found the key to the door.
Rusted away. So before we get into it, if you are listening for the first time, or if you're just a lazy prick, then do subscribe on YouTube, follow us on Spotify, Apple Pods, wherever you listen to us. It really helps us out. Rate us 5 stars, like the video, do anything for some sort of engagement. We always really love it, and we'll always reply, which is, again, you don't often get with a lot of shows. So
Especially the big ones like this. Yeah.
Especially the big ones like this. To have us still replying. I really should check
know.
messages actually on Instagram. We haven't done that for a while, he says.
You'll get a reply.
That Instagram is getting as dusty as MP's front door.
The rusty old
MP coming in for a
Instagram
pasting early.
I know.
Doors.
Like, he's not even here to defend himself. I hope he doesn't listen to this now.
That's the best time. That's the best time to get them, when they're not here.
When they're not here,
that's what I
poke them. Right, either that or, if they've just been through some sort of medical emergency or something, you just poke them while they're down.
Exactly. So yeah, Mickey 17, starring Robert Pattinson. Previously mentioned director. I haven't actually seen Parasite. I feel bad, but I didn't think it looked like my type of movie, so I just didn't want to. I didn't want to watch it and then just be like, I don't like it. But I know it's not made for me. Do you know what I mean?
No, I get it. I haven't seen it either for almost exactly the same reasons.
Runtime of 137 minutes, well over that 2-hour mark, with a budget of, now you should win this because there's no one to compete against.
Well, that means I can just go absolutely mental with a budget. My guess.
I want you to be within
$1 billion pesos.
Let me just get my Just Go Watch sponsored
currency converter. Budget. I think it felt like high budget. I'm going to have a guess at 100 million.
Oh, you close at 118.
Oh, I still win, like you say. So.
Yeah. Well, done. 1-0. One. There's no nil because there's no one who didn't get.
It's one.
Just one.
And
what do you think it's? What do you think it's made at the box office now? Obviously, Deej gets very particular about this because he wants exactly like where that money is coming from. So I will just give you that, and I'll let you know whether this is the full weekend and whether this is worldwide. So this is worldwide, first and foremost. Hold on, that's not the correct figure. I'm already selling you a dodgy one here. It's just a few technical difficulties. Why don't you just start guessing, and I'll tell you.
And you'll figure out the tech behind.
I'll figure out the
So,
tech. Right. Okay.
worldwide.
So it is worldwide, and this will be basically the weekend.
Okay. Worldwide weekend. So I went to see this on Friday morning, and
It's the best.
it is the best time. And I'd say so. There were about 12 people in the cinema, which I was surprised about. That was about 11 more than I expected, including myself.
Mm.
So I think it's done reasonably well. I think it's going to have made 50 million over the weekend worldwide.
Just about half of that, 26.4. Mm.
Oh,
Mm.
that's I'm still one. There's still another one.
Well done.
So
Yeah, well done. Well done.
thank you.
Well done.
Hold for
So
applause.
that's two. That's now two now.
That is two.
Just two.
Just two.
Yeah. So the plot of Mickey 17. So again, based on our recent plot summaries, and we had this discussion before we went live. There's a lot going on in this plot, and I don't feel that I have the capabilities or the nous to be able to effectively and accurately portray this plot within an acceptable amount of time that doesn't, just start dragging on. So I'm going to give a very, very brief, almost like a synopsis, and say that basically chap called Mickey and his friend have to leave Earth after coming into some shady business deals. They try and get to Niflheim with some big-time politician who's trying to get off-world to start his own colony. However, the only way he can get on this flight is to sign himself up as what's called an expendable, which basically means that he can be used and abused with the most dangerous tasks. And when he dies, they just reprint him with his imprinted memories and all that jazz. However, on one occasion, he actually doesn't die and gets reprinted out twice, which is a big no-no. And calamity ensues. Negotiations with alien species, dastardly political villains, and love. That's basically, yeah.
That is in a nutshell, yeah.
That's what every good story revolves around. So
Yeah.
that was the synopsis / plot of Mickey 17. Sweets, what was your assessment and what was your rating?
I didn't really know what this film wanted to be, if I'm honest. So I didn't watching go through and working out the storyline. I was quite happy with how it started, but I didn't really feel anything towards the end. I didn't feel the characters had a huge amount of depth. They just seemed to be smashed together during the writing process to fit what I thought was a bit of a lackluster storyline, if I'm honest. I did like certain performances. I thought Mark Ruffalo was very good as Marshall. I actually liked his performance because I hated the character. I didn't like the character, but I thought I quite liked Mark Ruffalo, so I thought, by proxy, that's a pretty decent performance. I Arpats, I'm not a huge fan of him as an actor. I did like that it seemed like a very different performance for him to do Mickey 17. But Mickey 18, when Mickey 18 came along, every now and again I was expecting him to to give a big old I am Batman into the camera. Because I thought that's the similarities between the Batman or the way he performed as the Batman and Mickey 18. Yeah, not a huge amount of character depth for me. It just seemed to be Timo and Mickey that got a bit of an explanation. Everyone else just kind of was there, and we didn't know why they had decided to take up a place on the ship. I would have liked a bit more explanation around why they were having to colonize planets, why that planet was chosen, etc. But I am a bit of a sci-fi geek with that kind of stuff. Yeah, I just thought it was a bit lackluster. I didn't care about it. As it developed, I didn't care about Mickey 17 or 18, what happened, the big alien mammoth type things. I didn't really care about the outcome of any of it. And I did lose a bit of interest towards the end. And because of that, I am leaning towards a very average 6 out of 10.
Okay. I thought this was. I was actually really excited for this one. And I thought the concept was really good. I love a bit of sci-fi. I love jetting off into space. Any kind of cloning and all this kind of stuff. I think that brings up some really interesting questions. And the film actually does nothing, I think, with that. I enjoyed the first half, I think, whilst I was waiting for it to kind of, all right, where you going? Where you going? And then we got an hour in, and I remember being in the cinema. I'd finished my popcorn. I went for popcorn. And I was like, fuck, got over an hour here with this now. And I was so fucking bored. So fucking bored. I really think this is really poor, actually.
Mm,
I'm seeing things that it's been described as a dark comedy. I don't think I laughed once. I don't think there's no comedy. I don't see any of the comedy. It wasn't silly enough
mm,
to be comedic. And you've got these two different tones, or several different tones. There's probably more than two. You've got Mark Ruffalo, and I actually didn't enjoy him at all. I thought he was way over the top. Like, oh yeah, Trump stand-in. I get it. Funny, yeah. And I forget, is it Toni Collette, the other one, who I normally really enjoy her in stuff as well. Like her, what's the horror she was in? Bloody hell, can't remember it. Anyway, I think she's an amazing actress, and Mark Ruffalo is good as well. But I was just like, I don't get the over the topness because nobody else is really like that. It's not a goofy comedy. It's literally like they were in a different film to everybody else. The kills, I was like, you had the chance. Like these could have been some hilarious deaths. And basically, the best moments we saw were in the trailer, which I did see. Just sort of prior to watching other films. That was the best stuff, where he gets his hand hit off. That was quite
mm,
entertaining. It's like, okay, if you could just take your mask off now, so we could just really see the effect. Like that kind of thing is like a really interesting thing. They obviously just don't see him as a person, but he is, even though it's such a weird thing. I don't think they went deep enough into it. It's not funny. I don't get any stuff. And you've got him playing it quite straight. Patterson. I actually quite like him, and I think he's really done well to get out of being typecast after sort of your Twilight stuff, and obviously he did Harry Potter, and he was just doing generally that kind of teen flick movie. But he's done some good stuff, some real thinkers, and he's kind of doing a lot here. I do think there's stuff to be said. He's done quite well. He's acting off of himself, basically. Like he's not bouncing off of somebody in that room. He's often bouncing off himself. That's going to be, shown later. He's got to do one of them first, right? He does quite well there. But yeah, no, Mark Ruffalo, Toni Collette, what the fuck are they doing? It's just way over the top. I don't find it funny. The slapstick stuff wasn't funny. Try my sauce. Ugh, fuck off. It's not funny. Yeah, I don't get what the film wanted to do. It meanders a lot. There was so many characters and so many bits of things that just go nowhere. If I didn't know better, I'd almost think that this had been like redone several times, and then they've like closed off certain plot tracks. Just so much going on, way too much. This could have been trimmed down massively, 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 massively. Get rid of the stuff with Kai, the other woman. Completely irrelevant. And the whole reason it takes like 35 minutes for them to even sort of get on the way with the plot, because we're all just we're introducing to the story. Way too long. The whole bit could have just been a quick, I need to get off planet and then I'm done. So I was so disappointed. I'm going with a 5, because I just think conceptually it's always going to be something I like. We'll see what happens. D just got in my head about me giving out too many 4.5s. I don't think it's quite a 4, so I'm going with a 5 for now.
He's not even here, and he's still having an impact.
He haunts me. He haunts me.
He haunts us all. He haunts us all. Yeah, I know what you mean with the concept. Like I didn't know anything about this film. I didn't even watch the trailer. I had kind of I think I looked on IMDb as I do just something else, and I saw a little snippet about colonizing an ice planet or something. I thought it might be up my street, but I avoided the trailers, etc. for this. But I agree with, it seems like a good concept, but meander, that's a very good word to use for this, because it was just so slow in parts. The comedy side of it, again, I don't agree. I don't think it's a dark comedy. I can see where the comedy should have been, or where they try to put it in. Um, I think the only point I semi giggled was when the sort of, was it more like a montage of the reprints when they keep coming out, and you can see gradually the staff are just losing interest in the reprints, not even
Hmm.
putting out the table for him, and one just falls on the floor in the fetal position, and someone just comes out and injects something into his ass. And that was it. That was the extent of how much they cared about it. I sort of giggled at that a bit, but yeah, as it went on, I didn't find it funny film. I didn't think, it was funny in parts. I didn't think Mark Ruffalo's character was that funny either. I liked his performance just because I quite liked how over the top it was, and maybe that's because of current affairs and, like you say, over the top
I
Trump,
just,
etc.
but surely that's just, it just didn't fit with the rest of the film. No one else is over the top. I mean, like Nasha, his love interest, she goes a little bit. But I also didn't get her. Like she's supposed to be.
No.
He says she's a soldier, a cop, like something else. But basically, she's part of the law and order there, and
Mm,
she's a fucking mentalist. Like they're doing
yeah.
drugs and just and this, the whole thing is, she would know massively if she's part of Law and Order. She would know that this is like a massive no, and yet she's just getting excited when she sees two of them. I didn't get that. Now tell me this one. One of my biggest issues with this film is, where the fuck did the second type of personality come from? At no point had they introduced that it was a different personality that came through, and then suddenly Mickey 18 is fucking Batman, as you say. 17 is this little dweeb of a man, and then he's like, oh yeah, number 6 and 7 were supposed to be, whatever. And I was like, what the you can't just fucking thumb that in there like out of nowhere. How is he a completely different person? Like every time he's being reprinted, it's always the, oh, okay. Like
Yeah.
that is him. That is him. It's a reprint, and he gets his memories in. Like at no point have we said anything about
No.
him being this fucking dark, brooding guy, and then suddenly he is, because the script needs him to be, because they want that in the story, because it makes them identifiable. Like what the fuck?
No, I know exactly. We probably had the same level of confusion at exactly the same time in that film. Because when Mickey came out and you immediately got that different tone from him, I was like, well, hang on a sec. Like, why is he different? Surely he should just be the same nerdy, geeky Mickey that we have been led to believe. They've all been the same. And if
Yeah.
they're storing memories in the fucking brick, I don't know what the fucking brick is about. If they're storing
Why they make it an
memories to
actual brick?
upload. Yeah, they make it. They can, storing memories, upload the memories, so he has that consistency throughout. Then where does the personality change come from? Like, why is there a sudden change? Like, if they're storing the memories and everything, so he was as exactly as he was before, then what happens in that process for a personality change to take place? That's not explained. It
And
only
you
pops
could
up
have,
about an hour in.
yeah, you could have actually made that a really interesting thing, and that would have been a testament to Pattinson's performance. Is if you had spent more time with the different Mickeys,
Mm,
you could have shown like oh yeah, Mickey 8 was, a bit of a wild cannon, or Mickey 9 was a whatever. You could have done that, but they didn't. I mean, there was a series of about 5 or 6 Mickeys that basically
yeah.
in the montage, they're just getting zapped with the virus, and they're dead. One of them's only alive for 15 minutes or so. So that's you don't give that time. As far
No.
as I can see, 17 is basically the exact same as the Mickey who boards the spaceship right from the beginning.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't be able
100%.
to tell those apart, and then suddenly you get this out of nowhere one. Like, come on! I just think that's, I don't know, how can you have that, like as though that's, and I've seen people like praising that as like, oh yeah, Pattinson's performance. Like, there's
No.
no fucking sense in the story that you've got these two different types. And then
No.
when they both there, 18 then tries to kill 17. and then suddenly they're just like besties. Like that doesn't happen again. How easy
Mm.
like would it be? Bear in mind, if you get caught, you are both dead.
Mm.
Like, and the other thing that I didn't really get is you've got him at one point. You know, he's like alive as they're putting him into the furnace, and he's like, nah, it's okay. You know, he's just so used to it. Just do me. I'm going to be reprinted in a second anyway. And then the next thing, these guys are now like, oh my God, don't kill me. I must live. I must live. And as though their lives mean something.
Mm.
Like, why would you not? I don't understand. If you've become so accustomed to death and you're in that position, you know, you can't have in one scene him be like, meh, yeah, I'm just going to die now. That's just kind of what I do. And then the next scene, he's like,
Iron for
I
life.
want to live.
Yeah, I want to live.
I don't
Yeah,
get it. Like, you know, you're going to continue your relationship.
yeah.
Um,
I
with the
think
only
with the
blip is going to be the only blip will be where his memories weren't downloaded, if that makes sense.
short gap.
So, for
Yeah, yeah.
example, yeah, there'll be that gap. There'll be that little gap where he's died. I mean, they don't actually explain how that works. Like, you know what I mean?
No,
Because how can he go back
no.
to? He can't go back to square one. But does he? What does he download every day? Does he? You know, like
I
if
think
I don't
it's.
sync my phone, all the conversations from that day then go. So how does he work that one out?
I think
Otherwise, you've
for
got some like 50, 50 first dates going on where he basically has to be brought up to speed every morning. Like,
yeah, amnesia every day, and I've got to relearn my entire life so I can then carry on the storyline. Yeah, I get that. I, it's just not explained very well. I think for the different personality thing in that montage bit where they're showing you that they have they just don't give a shit about him as a person because he's an expendable. Like like you say, he just seems the weak as piss Mickey the whole way through. Do you add some different characters in there? Like one is, saying, well, fuck that, I'm not taking my helmet off, I don't want to die, or one is attacking them or something like that, then you can show the different personalities. And then that would then later feed into the whole sense of I don't want to die sort of thing, rather than just accepting death every time, because that is weak as
yeah,
piss. That's why we've come to that conclusion that all of the Mickeys up until that point are the same. And
and
then all of
also
a
like
sudden,
you could have had some really hilarious like personality traits. Like you could have had Mickey 7, he had some rage, and then it's like it skips to him and he's like beating up one of these scientists like and then I'd have also I think you could have had some real fun with Nasha, and she's just into all of them. Like
yeah,
there's always something she loves where like she's watching from the screen as Mickey beats up this scientist, like glee in her eyes because she's slightly unhinged, but she can always appreciate the Mickey. You could talk about, oh yeah, they're just destined to be together, she just loves all facets of his personality, like whatever, because we do see that she is kind of obsessed with him, she's like so protective of him.
mm,
um I think you could have had some fun with that. And again, that just leads me into like, why weren't your deaths wackier? Like, they had some little bits of dry humor. Again, like I said, when they're putting the body into the furnace, and it's like, hey,
mm.
this guy's actually alive. Which again is in the trailers. All your best bits are in the trailers. Fucking cliche, classic. Um, yeah, but they don't do any of that. I think that sometimes this film is like, I'd love to know what have they told Mark Ruffalo and Tony Collette when they're like, okay, this scene's going to be like, because those guys, they're in a comedy, they're in an over the top,
Yeah,
fuck it, do like go wild with it, guys, comedy. Patterson, it's like, okay, what are you going to bring to this character? Because this one's going to be subtly different, of course, to the like. You know what I mean? Like he's playing it dead fucking straight with like maybe a little, you know, satirical line here and there. No one else is playing comedy. I don't get any other comedy from anyone
no,
else. So, like,
there
what?
was a yeah, there was a little bit of well, like I say, attempted comedy with the Timo character, but again, that was more towards the end when they're like, lucky Timo, he the person that Blanc had sent on the ship to catch up with them, he ends up being lucky and killing him and he wins out. And then he goes to court and he's lucky because, they let him off on self-defense. And they're kind of playing it as he's just really lucky. But that was the only real comedic value that I saw out of most of the film with him. And I thought that character at the beginning, they introduced him, he's the best friend. He's the reason why he's got to go to Niflheim to escape this guy. And then he just sort of disappeared halfway
Oh
through.
yeah,
And then
he's
he
a
became a
completely
bit
pointless
part.
character.
Yeah,
He's a
yeah,
completely pointless
completely.
character. When he comes to the prison, pointless because they end
Yeah.
up like dicking on him, and then they're still going to be killed because they're still multiples. You could have just had Mickey could have just owed some shit and then gets off
Mm,
world, and that's that done with. That's that part we're done with. Right. The only way I could get away from the loan shark was to get off world. Job done. Park it.
yeah,
We don't
yeah.
need that now for the rest of the film. Like, you don't need to worry about it. And yet we have this like, oh yeah, an associate. Well, you've already told me that Mickey was the one whose name was most of the debt taken out in. So why are they
Mm,
not after Mickey instead?
yeah,
Why are
yeah.
you
It was,
after why are you after his friend, Timo? Like, it doesn't make any sense. You're the one sliding letters in. And also, like, you're 4.5 fucking years away from Earth. What the fuck? Why is this guy doing all this? How are you going to send this video? Like,
but
these guys aren't
also,
coming back to Earth. What are we going to do? Send it on the fucking Wi-Fi?
why have they waited 4.5 years to put that plan into place as well? Like, why not?
Yeah,
The spaceship has taken off. There's nowhere for them to go. Why not make it known then straight away? Look, I'm on your tail. Like, you've got nowhere to run. You're not going to jump off the ship or anything like that. Why wait 4.5 years and then all of a sudden this sleeper agent loan shark guy is going to make it known that he's after you? Again, just
yeah.
shoehorning in plot points to make the story or attempted story work. And
And
yeah,
there's
Timo was
just so much.
pointless.
It's just so much. Like, I'm going through the plot on the wiki here, and I'm literally like scrolling down because there's just like so much. It's just the whole like, okay, so we the love interest again, that Kai woman. What's the point?
Yeah, yeah, there is
What's
no
the
point in
point?
that.
Oh, turns out she's bisexual, and a previous woman was actually her girlfriend. I wasn't sure because I was like, oh, she's trying to seduce Mickey, so maybe she's not, and that was just her best mate. But no,
Mm,
they sort of suggest that was actually a relationship, and then we see her later on with another woman in a relationship
yeah,
happily, and you're like, oh yeah, I'm glad those two worked it out because I was really attached to that character. Like, she's barely fucking in it, and then we see that, and I actually thought you were going to have that actually Nasha, because she's fucking wild. um and you could almost argue that Nasha like dominates Mickey 17,
mm,
um and he's just a bit more meek. I thought it was going to be, oh yeah, Mickey 18 and Nasha actually are a better match, and then Mickey 17 and Kai, she's a bit more softer, she's a bit more sensitive. They actually end up being a better thing, and they kind of accept, and that's how it ends. And I thought that's where they were going to go with it, but no,
I thought that.
no.
Yeah, I thought.
Kai is just nothing.
Yeah, yeah, I thought that as well. I didn't. The Nasha character annoyed me because she was portrayed to be the kind of strong, independent woman. Like you say, she's a cop, she's an agent or whatever she is. She's a pretty big deal on that ship. They obviously hold a lot of stock in her
Hmm.
being on that ship, etc. But I never got that. Like you say, she wants to do the drugs. She sees the two Mickeys and she's instantly like, "Let's all bang! This will be great. I'm so excited."
Yeah.
And then the whole scene where Marshall's going to kill the baby alien thing, and she just fucking loses it. Like, for me, in that scene, she lost all credibility as the character they had
When she's
portrayed her
just
to
like
be.
swearing at him and stuff, I was
She
like,
just
this,
loses it. Yeah,
this, you just look weak now. You
yeah,
fucking little
exactly.
fucking. I was like, whoa, all right, Jesus, get yourself off the estate. Like, but that whole scene itself went on way too long. I was like, fucking get on with it. Like, Marshall's obviously gonna go outside to take it on. Like, fucking, and there was just so much shit. Like, his little aide with the like the little stud on the above his chin.
Yeah,
Um,
the priest
I
guy.
thought, I don't know, I thought he was going to have some sort of nefarious thing where he's actually just trying to take over, because he'd be like, "Oh, you should do this, sire." Like, basically, like, fucking little. He's like the guy in Lord of the Rings who's whispering to the other
Yeah,
the
or
king.
what's it, Lord
Oh,
Varys? My
fucking hell.
my sparrows are talking,
It's just,
sort of
yeah,
thing.
exactly. I was like, oh, but you're not that then. You are just a little fucking. You're just
All
there
right,
to suck him
can
off,
you
right?
answer me this then? Can you answer me this? What was the point of the colonization of that planet? Because I can't work out if it's to save mankind, future-proof, the human race, or if it's just
So
some sort of weird, expensive sex cult.
my understanding was he's a failed politician. I presume
Mhm.
he's gone for the presidency, has been unsuccessful, and so basically still wants to be in charge. And so he's like, well, fuck it, I'm going to go find a planet I can take over. And he, for some reason, has this really loyal fan base who all want to go with him. Shocker, they've all got like the hats. Oh, I wonder who you're basing this off. Like, you're not even trying to be subtle. Like, fuck me.
Yeah.
And I mean, Mark Ruffalo is very, very lefty, very Hollywood politics. So I can just imagine he jumped at the chance. And I was like, you're not even. How many times are we going to see this kind of like Trump stand in politics? Like, it's just boring now. It's not big and it's not clever. It's just like, oh, I'm going to be over the top and blah, blah, blah. Like, ha ha, funny, funny, funny. Go back to your fucking mansion in LA. Yeah.
So
That's
impression
basically the
I've
whole
got.
thing. That's the whole thing. That is it. He just wants to be in charge of a thing. And then, I think they obviously realize on the ship, they can't have everybody just having babies because then it's more mouths to feed. So they look at banning. I don't know. They talk about banning sex, but I mean,
And then everyone's just banging.
how you fucking doing that? Everyone's banging. And then
they're all
he
really
basically
open about that as well.
Yeah, he like promises a big old sex session once they get there to repopulate the planet, the fucking snowy planet.
That's why I couldn't figure out what the purpose for colonizing that planet was about. Because I thought the same as you. Faye wants to have ultimate power. This is the way you can have ultimate power because everyone will idolize him. He'll be in charge and all that. But it just kept going down a bit of a mucky, seedy road. Like, no, we're banning sex. But when we get there, big fuck pit, everyone's invited.
And then actually that does remind me, because then when he like speaks to Kai and he's like, oh, you've got the right, like he's almost going down like the race thing, and I was thinking this is taking a weird fucking turn. At no point have you suggested some sort of superior. Are you being racist now? Because your crew is looking pretty multicultural. Like, I don't get it. Like, if you wanted this like superior race bullshit, then why is your crew looking like so diverse? So what was the point in that, adding that? Because you then don't take it anywhere. You're just trying to, I get it. No, guys, I get it. He's a bad guy. I do understand. You don't have to keep fucking shoving his fake teeth down my throat. Like, and also I was just like, these aren't real people decisions. You see an alien creature, oh my God, kill it, or make its tail into fucking sauce. Like,
sauce.
Is there no in between?
Thing. Like, what was the whole sauce thing about? Every 5 minutes she's talking about
just
sauce.
Like, oh yeah, this running joke. It's not a joke. It's not funny.
It's not. I convinced myself because he has that dream at the end where she's on about the sauce again. Tony Collette's character. And I'd convinced myself that at some point during the movie, I'd drifted off and I'd missed a key point about a hidden meaning behind the source, or the meaning of life, or his source is the blood, or I don't know, whatever. But I convinced myself I'd missed something because it just kept coming up. And then at first I thought, they're trying to be funny with it because she's obsessed with source. And then I convinced myself I'd missed something that was integral. And no, it just turns out it's just a fucking no, she can't stop talking about source.
It's just so weird. And do you know what? Despite being 2 hours 17, which is way too fucking long for this, there's so many scenes that could have been trimmed, so many little storylines and plot points that could have been completely eradicated. And yet, it rushes the final act. Suddenly they've got this translator, all because Mickey 17 was like, do you know how to talk to them? How the fuck would you know how to talk to them? You don't even know what they are. You've just given the name Creepers. You don't know you don't got no information on them, but suddenly Mickey 17 you think can communicate with them. She's, you were just imitating them. Yeah, because when would he ever have time to fucking learn an entire language? Fucking scientist or what? And then suddenly she takes the and then makes an entire fucking translator with it. Like, that Mickey can now just take out into thing. Oh yeah, no, don't worry, it's the future. Like, no, come on, you're not showing me that technology is that good there.
Well, it's not, because they're slumming it in the ship, aren't they? When that popped up, I almost just got up and walked out. I thought we're nearing the end. I don't walk out of movies. I thought we're nearing the end. That has just killed it for me. Like you say, they're just making funny noises between each other, the alien and
Oh,
Mickey.
yeah.
Then Mickey does it to the scientist, and then she's like, "Oh, by the way, because of those random noises you made that you don't know what mean, you're just imitating. Here's a universal translator, so you can talk to them."
Oh,
I
yeah. I
was,
mean, just so shit. Just so shit. Like, what a terrible ending as well. Let me go out
yeah.
there and speak to this thing, and they're like, "Oh, he's not chopping off tails. What's he doing? I don't know. He's probably not plotting our downfall. Like, should we blow him up now? Nah, definitely don't blow him up now. And then he just let him come back on. He's got a fucking bomb on, like, and you're just allowing him to mosey on about. Oh,
They
it's
obviously
just
made
shit.
the remote detonate that magically had 17 and 18 on was obviously developed in the same lab as the magical universal translator. Because how would they
Oh, they did
possibly
really
know
well.
after they sprayed 17 and 18 on the bombs on the Mickeys, that they have this remote detonate that's already pre-made
Yeah.
with 17 and 18 on, like
Yeah.
someone foresaw
Here's
it.
your wrist mounted bomb thingy that we have on hand, just in case there's ever a need on this ship.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah, that whole bit, and then Marshall going out, and it was like, this is so obviously clear where it's going. I did like that the creatures sort of made like multiple mounds. That was,
And
somewhat.
like
I
a
was like,
defense
okay,
mechanism thing, yeah.
yeah, that's a pretty good, well thought out thingy. And then that happens, and oh my god, and we're still not done with the fucking film, because now we've got remember that character from half an hour ago? Yeah, it turns out they did okay. Kai's now banging another woman. Yeah, it's all kind of working out, and I'm like, oh my god, I don't even remember half of these people, what their names are. And then just to further rub fucking iodine in the open wound, they then give me a fucking stupid dream sequence. Oh,
Yeah.
fuck
That
off
completely
already.
lost
Like, what a
me.
waste of fucking time. It's 2 hours 17. Like,
Yeah.
and you're giving me a dream sequence. Fucking
You could
hell.
have gotten rid of that. You could have gotten rid of the whole Kai bit, nutted off Timo or whatever, or just, had him in the beginning as a vehicle to get in there if you needed to. I don't think they did. But got rid of all that. Saved yourself close to what, like maybe 45 minutes to an hour, and then just put more of, like you say, the comedic value in the different Mickeys, the different personalities to explain that bit more,
Mm,
to make that fit better, or even give Nasha a bit more of a background, a bit more of a purpose, so you understand why she's, in the position she is. But is she really as strong as she's made out to be? Because she loses it. You could have made that, put so much more depth in there, made it a lot more
yeah,
comical and funny. The dark comedy it's been portrayed to be that it really isn't,
yeah.
and you would have had a better movie. I think there's so
I
much
think
dross in this.
you could have had a lot more of shenanigans where the 17 and 18 are basically trying to hide this double identity. So,
Yeah,
they're having to carry out tasks. But then that's the thing, they die so regularly. Well, do they die that regularly? If you've had 17 in 4.5 years, the average one lasts what, like maybe a couple of months, 3 months.
yeah,
So how long can you really, that's again, like, how long can you have these characters going when the natural thing would be that they would die at any point, really,
yeah,
given the next task they do could kill them. So
yeah.
that's probably why they can't have too many shenanigans going around, because the next shenanigan is probably the end of one of them. But you could have maybe done something with that, the classic. I mean, it's very cliche, isn't it? Like, where, hang on a second, weren't you wearing different clothes 2 minutes ago? Oh
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, I
why?
changed. Oh, okay,
Yeah.
like whatever. Yeah,
Your hair was parted to the left and now it's parted to the right.
yeah.
That kind of crap. But yeah, a lot of that was cliche, but I think they missed the trick on a lot of the stuff that I was expecting to see. When two Mickeys turned up, I was expecting to see a certain things, and I didn't. Maybe they wanted to avoid that, the expectancy of it. But yeah, a lot of missed opportunities, And Mickey 18 was just dreadful at killing people, like absolutely dreadful.
Mm.
Yeah, my county tried to kill 4 people, and he was successful in one. Sorry, no, 3. He was successful with one of those attempts.
Yeah.
Yeah, the character was just too different to what we'd come to know with no explanation, and that I started to lose me from that point when I thought this is just it isn't fitting with what we've come to expect from this film up until now.
I feel like I don't know. Am I being too harsh to come down to a 4? That
That is a
I don't
big
know.
well.
I
I'm
don't know.
considering.
Four's really low, isn't it? Four's really low. or is
It
it
is
really low?
low.
I don't
It
know.
is low, but I came in at a 6. I'm definitely coming down now. We've bashed the shit out of this for however long.
I
Um,
did. I think it's. I mean, yeah, the last 2/3 I didn't enjoy. The first third I did kind of enjoy it. I was open to where it was going. I just don't know if I can. Is this an average movie for me?
I think it's
Is it?
been
I don't
hyped up a
know.
lot because it's an Oscar-winning director. Like we said, before, I can't remember if it was before or as we started recording, but neither of us have seen Parasite. It's just not a film that either of us would
No.
think we're going to see. So, is Parasite even that good? These are all the things I'm thinking now because of one
Well, if
crap
it's won an
film.
Oscar, it must be. It must be good. It can't
It
possibly be
has to
bad
be.
if it's an
It has
Oscar.
to be good.
Christ. Oh, I don't know. Yeah, ultimately, very disappointing for what should be a decent sci-fi concept. I feel like you've got two different like, okay, this scene's gonna call for this. Oh, so you want me to be over the top? Said Mark Ruffalo. Yeah, go for that. And then Mickey 17's playing it pretty straight.
Yeah,
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 the dinner scene again. It was that. Like Mickey
yeah.
17's playing it pretty thing, and again, like, oh my goodness, you gave him the painkiller. Yeah,
Purple gel, whatever it was. Again,
purple
I
joy.
I didn't see the need in that scene. It
Yeah,
didn't really add to
just
anything. We didn't get anything
yeah.
from it. It was just
Oh, they're trying to make meat. Cheers for the backstory.
yeah.
Goes nowhere. You don't do anything with it. You then don't do. We don't then get the next iteration. Oh, who fucking cares?
All
I
right,
don't know.
what are you
I don't know.
doing? What are you
Well, I
doing?
can't go to a 4.5, can I? That's what I gave the monkey. That's what I think I've used I think I've used all my 4.5s up in a year, basically, and
How many did you get a year?
I don't know.
Has
I'll
Deej
wait. I'll
sent
wait
that
for.
memo out?
I'll wait for. Yeah, I'm waiting for that memo from Deej. I gave Mufasa the Lion King a 4.5. I've actually not been too liberal with my 4.5s.
See, you might have a few spare.
As yeah, maybe I can book one in.
Oh, all right.
Yeah,
Well,
I
I
did give.
started.
Yeah, I gave the monkey. I gave the monkey 4.5.
All right, so I gave it a 6, which I think was being generous at the time. I am gonna come down. I'm gonna come down a whole point to a 5. Yeah, I just didn't. Where it
Hmm.
was going and where it ended up weren't the same place in my head, and I enjoyed seeing the setup, but then I think they've ruined it after that, and it's almost like they forgot about this film. For oh crap, we need it's coming out on Friday. We need to finish this quick. And they've
Mm.
just rammed a load of shit in, so I'm coming down all the way down to a 5.
Oh, I'll stay on a
Do,
5.
Oh,
I'll stay on
you
a 5.
pussy! You
Yeah,
pussy! You
yeah. Maybe
absolute
I think I need to.
pussy!
I need to be more considerate with when I'm dishing out those low ratings, because there's a lot to enjoy. Like I said, Patterson's performances, although it doesn't make sense, he is good. And I like the concept. It's the execution.
Yeah.
And I really don't like Mark Ruffalo. So it gets a 5. It gets a 5. What do you think the Rotten Tomatoes
Oh,
is saying?
so I think people are going to be. I think critics are going to be enjoying it because it's being directed by an Oscar-winning director. And I think that
Oh well, of
holds weight
course.
with them, and that
He now
holds weight.
has.
That
He
that
can't do anything
bumps it
wrong
up.
now.
Well, exactly. So I think this is coming in for critics 80%, but I think audiences is going to be tanking. I reckon that's going to be about 60.
All right. Well, critics are actually 79, so almost bang on.
Oh, all right, cool.
And the audience is 73.
Fuck.
Mm,
What?
yeah.
Well, maybe we just know nothing about what good films are.
Yeah. So
I
yeah,
think
if
it's
you're
them,
listening,
but
you've wasted your time, guys. You shouldn't have listened to us, because what do we know?
what? That's mental. 73% of the audience think
Yeah.
this. No,
Listen,
I disagree. I disagree.
Stephanie Zacharek from the Time magazine. It's neither funny, moving, or sharp. The Time may feel right for a wiry dystopian sci-fi adventure comedy, but as satires go, this one is more mild than habanero. I like you, Stephanie. I like you.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Unlike
maybe
Dana
you're yeah.
Stevens from
Oh, go
Slate,
on.
Mickey 17 is remarkable for the savagery of its satire of 21st century capitalism. What the fuck does that even mean, you fucking...
That's bullshit. He's used a lot of
You pretentious
nice
bitch.
sounding
Fuck
words.
off.
Yeah, that's meant. No, I don't agree. I think they're all
No.
wrong.
They are wrong.
And
Of course they're wrong. We are
I
the only
think
ones who are right in this. And anyone
yeah,
else
agreed.
who dislikes the film, then we're in this together. Yeah. Okay, well that was Mickey 17. We've still got on for 45 minutes, even though there's two of us. Yeah, not a great score from us. Definitely one that you can miss out. Grab it when it's on streaming or something. If you are still listening, thank you. Don't forget, like, subscribe, follow, give us 5 stars, all of the various types that you can help us out. Drop us a message, let us know what you thought. But there's only one way that you are going to know what you thought of Mickey 17, and that is
Just go watch.